everybody. Welcome to another installment of the Payoff Pitch. I'm your host, Paul Valley. And let's get going. Orioles giving us a lot to be happy about. They started the season 5-0 through the first week. Good for not only the best record in the American League, but also the best record in baseball. They are the lone undefeated team left so far this season. The offense, as a whole, they're hitting .298, which is good for second in all of baseball. The pitching, as a team, they're pitching to a 1.80 ERA, which is good for best in baseball through the first 5 games. So, one of the biggest concerns for the team heading in was the starting pitching, and were they going to be able to match up with all the other teams in the American League East and make a push for the playoffs, and so far, so good. Offensively, they have 3 guys in Mark Trumbo, Manny Machado, and Joey Rickard, who are all hitting well over 400. And Joey Rickard, Machado, and Jonathan Scope have all collected hits in each of the Orioles' first 5 games, so that gives you a lot to be excited about. If you're going to find the cause for concern, and it's tough to find many when your team is playing so well offensively and defensively and they're undefeated, I'd have to say it's the starting rotation. Even though the team as a whole has pitched to that stellar ERA, the starters haven't gotten deep into games. Now, we all know what happened on opening day. There were 2 rain delays, so Tillman was only able to go 2 innings. Yvonny Gallardo, in his first start, though, only went 5 innings. Then, while Ubaldo Jimenez went 7 innings and pitched a really good game in his first start, Chris Tillman, in his next start, only went 5 innings. And then in yesterday's game, Vance Worley was only able to go 4 2/3 innings. Now, yesterday's game, that was a bit by design. The most pitches that Worley had thrown in spring training was 65, so Buck didn't really want to stretch him too far beyond that. Actually, Buck even admitted he left Worley in a batter longer than he would have liked to yesterday because he wanted to give him the opportunity to qualify for the win. But at 4 2/3 innings and 79 pitches, Buck opted to go to the bullpen, and it was a pretty smart choice yesterday as the bullpen went 4 1/3 innings, giving up just 2 hits and no runs. But bottom line is the starting rotation has to go deeper. They're logging too few innings. The bullpen is logging too many innings this early in the season. And while the Orioles have a very good bullpen, if it continues this way, I don't care how good your bullpen is, we've discussed it before, you're going to tax them and the arms are going to be shot by June. All right, so the starters have to get deeper into games. Now, speaking of yesterday's game, Manny Machado, he went 4 for 4. He had a home run, a double, 2 RBIs, a couple of runs scored, a big run scored there in the bottom of the 8th inning that nobody talked about on the highlight shows last night, and it was a big run, and it showed a lot of baseball instinct there. Machado led off the bottom of the 8th with a double, which was huge in and of itself, because in the top of the 8th, O'Day had thrown 34 pitches. He loaded the bases, which he seemingly does every time he faces the Rays, and still manages to wiggle out of the jam. But he loaded the bases, he's facing Hank Conger, and he gets him with a nasty low and inside slider to end the inning. But 34 pitches, you're kind of getting nervous. Is Tampa starting to build momentum? Are they going to be able to come back? So Machado leads off the bottom of the 8th with that double, which was huge. Goes to third base on a ground out by Chris Davis. And then with Trumbo at the plate, there's a wild pitch. And the ball didn't get that far away from the catcher. We got about 10, 15 feet away from the catcher. But Manny, great start. As soon as he saw the ball get away, he took off for home, made the catcher hurry a throw, and the catcher made a terrible throw home. Machado slides in, touches the plate, scores that big insurance run, gives the Orioles a 2-run lead going to the top of the 9th with one of baseball's best closers in Zach Britton. You know that if you're going into the 9th inning with a multi-run lead, with that guy coming in, knock on wood, you're probably going to win that game. Of course, Britton comes in, and he goes 3 up, 3 down, gets his second save of the season, and helps the Orioles go to 5-0. The reason I bring up Manny's hot start, hitting .429, 3 home runs, 4 RBIs, 5 runs scored this year. This guy is going to make a case for the MVP this year, and that has some Orioles fans a little bit nervous for the future, because if Manny continues to progress the way he has, and he continues to stay healthy, he's going to command a huge contract when his rookie deal is up. Right now, he's scheduled to be a free agent after the 2018 season, and rumors are he's going to command upwards of $300 million. And fans are wondering, are the Orioles going to pay it? Here's what I think. I think you absolutely have to pay it. You have to give this guy If it's going to take 10 years, $300 million, you do it. And I'll tell you why. Manny's a rare talent. He can steal you 20 bags. He can hit 30 home runs. He can drive in 100 runs. He's never done that yet, but hitting lower in the order this year, I think he will. He's going to hit for a high average. And he plays gold glove, platinum glove defense over at third base. And probably once he moves over the shortstop, because that's happening at some point, guys. I hate to say it's going to happen. This is a guy that you drafted, you brought up through your minor league system, and then you gave him his chance at the major league level at the age of 19, and you've watched him bud into a superstar. These are players you keep. These are players you don't let walk away. All right? Adam Jones is the face of the franchise. Manny Machado is the franchise. If it takes 10 years, $300 million, 8 years, $240 million, I don't care how many years and how much money it's going to take. You pay the guy. You want him to play most of, if not his entire career, in an Orioles uniform. If he becomes a Hall of Fame player, that's a plaque in Cooperstown with another Oriole in there. You want him in the orange and black his entire career. Pay the man. He's earned it. If you can earn that kind of money, I think it's a no-brainer. I think that if ownership lets Manny Machado walk away and go play for the Yankees or the Dodgers or the Cubs or the Red Sox, it makes me sick to think about it, you're going to have a riot on your hands. So that's my opinion on Manny Machado, plain and simple right there. As far as what's coming up next, the Orioles are in Boston for a 3-game series that starts at 2 o'clock today. You have, in that series, Ubaldo Jimenez against David Price today. Then you have Mike Wright against Clay Buchholz tomorrow. And then you have Yovani Gallardo against Joe Kelly on Wednesday in the series finale. The only start that really scares me is today, just because David Price is a perennial Cy Young candidate. And the Orioles have had some success against him. If you can call it success against David Price, I've never seen them light him up, but they tend to get wins when they face David Price, so that kind of gives you hope. But it's David Price, perennial Cy Young candidate. He has one under his belt already, and he made a very strong case to win it last year. The Red Sox home opener, adrenaline's going to be pumping. He's going to be pitching some good baseball today, so hopefully the Orioles can squeak out another win. They're already 5-0, which ties the 1970 club for the best start in the Baltimore portion of the franchise history. That team won 108 games, featured 4 20-game winners in the rotation, and they won a World Series. So hopefully the parallels don't stop after the first week of the season. And hopefully they can parallel the 1944 St. Louis Browns, who have the overall franchise record to start the season. They started 9-0 on their way to 89 wins in the division title. So as history suggests, starting undefeated through the first week of the season is usually a pretty good thing as far as making the playoffs for your team. So after Boston, the Orioles are going to head to Texas for a 4-game series. Seems like they always play a 4-game series when they go to Texas. And then they come home against the Blue Jays for a 3-game series before hitting the road again. Kevin Gausman should be making his first start of the season in that Toronto series. They're eyeing April 19th as his first date. He went 2 innings yesterday, gave up 2 hits, 1 run. I think he had 2 strikeouts also. So and a walk. He allowed a walk. So he's tuning up, getting ready to make his starting probably next week. Another injury update. Brian Maz expected to come off the disabled list on Thursday, which means that either Tyler Wilson or Mike Wright are headed back down to the minors. Unless you want to DFA Vance Worley because he doesn't have any options. I don't know if they want to do that or not. I think they like the long man capabilities that he presents in the bullpen. If I had to guess, even though I may disagree with it, I think Tyler Wilson's the one who's the odd man out when Mattis comes back, simply because of the fact that Mike Wright has nothing left to prove at the minor league level. And I think the Orioles want to see what he can do as a full-time starter. So we'll see as far as that's concerned. You can follow me on Twitter at Paul Valley III. It's just PaulValle with the Roman numeral 3 after it. So at Paul Valley III on Twitter. Please follow my blogs at UtahStreetReport.com. You can go in there, just look up my name, Paul Valley, under the authors page, and you'll find me. I have the black and white picture with an Orioles hat with a big grin on my face. So I've been meaning to change that picture for a while now. I'm also working on a Facebook page to feature, sports updates, this YouTube show and my blog post. So keep your eyes open for that in the coming days and weeks. And until then, as always, go O's. Thanks for watching.